kicking back on this summer breeze. Welcome to Double K's Classroom. Class is officially in session.
The following Four Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Double A's Classroom. This week, I am here to talk about the 2019 NBA free agent fallout. So basically, it's more so just taking an overall look at what happened, where it happened, and who it kind of affected, and the things it kind of affected within the league. We'll open up with, of course, the biggest story of the offseason, which was KD to the Nets and D'Angelo Russell to the Warriors. Also, Kyrie Irving to the Nets. To form a pretty solid squad with that kid Allen over there and Dimwittle and them boys. Like, they've got a pretty decent squad. Kyrie will play alone for this year due to KD being out with the injury for the year. But the thing I like about it most as a Golden State Warriors fan is that the Warriors actually managed to get something for Durant. They didn't lose him for nothing, which is the key thing to the entire scenario as far as the Warriors were concerned, is that it's okay to lose him, but just don't lose him for nothing. They get back D'Angelo Russell in return. D-Russ had an all-star season last year for the Nets. I believe averaged like 20 points and 8 assists, or 21 points and 8 assists a game. He's expected to fit pretty fluidly in, and in the meantime, in the current time, take the place of Klay Thompson as the starting shooting guard for the Warriors. So we'll see how that works out. Him and Steph basically have to be the new Splash Brothers until Klay gets back, and we don't know where Klay's going to go when that comes around. Right now, the Warriors have a pretty solid roster. You're looking at Curry, they got the kid Jacob Evans, D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Glenn Robinson III, who they signed, Alfonso McKinney, who they re-signed, Draymond Green, Orlando Spellman that they got from the Atlanta Hawks, Willie Cauley-Stein, and Kevin Looney, who they signed this past offseason. They also picked up Alec Burks from the Kings, Jordan Poole they drafted, Damian Lee they re-signed from last year, Eric Paschall they drafted, and Alan Samel, I don't even want to mess up that kid's name. You know what his name is. But I think that they put together a pretty solid squad overall. I'll give you my prediction on the Warriors a little bit later when we get into the second half of the show. But I believe that roster can be one of the top offensive rosters in the league. Defensively, with Green and Willie Cauley-Stein and Kevin Looney. Spellman was a decent defender for the Hawks. I think they'll be pretty good. I think they'll definitely be lacking in defense from the small forward position, but Glenn Robinson III is not a slouch when it comes to defense. So him and Alfonso McKinney should be able to fill in the defensive side, even though offensively that's going to be expected to be made up by D'Angelo Russell. And even with that, the Warriors are still going to be down and need at least another 20 points off the bench out of guys like Burks and Poole and Lee. So we'll see how it all pans out. Steve Kerr will have his rotations down, but this is a new day for the Golden State Warriors. This isn't that same old Warriors squad that was guaranteed to go to the finals, and it isn't a team that you can count out from making some noise in the playoffs either. Like I said, I'll get to my prediction for their season in a little bit. Sacramento Kings, their biggest signing this offseason was the re-signing of the one and the only Mr. Harrison Barnes, one-time champion, and the addition of Trevor Ariza. They already had a pretty solid squad, the Kings did, with De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield and Bogdan Bogdanovic, Harrison Barnes. Like I said, they just signed Trevor Ariza. They have Marvin Bagley. They lost Willie Cauley-Stein, but replaced him with Dennis Dedmon and Rashawn Holmes. They also have Kyle Guy, Justin James, Wenyen Gabriel, and Caleb Swanigan, all coming off the bench. Point guard, shooting guard, power forward, and center, respectively. But the Kings probably will drop at least one of those guys, because I believe their total at this point sits at 16, 3, 6, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, the total number of players sits at 16. So they'll have to get rid of at least one, or maybe send one down to the D-League, whatever their D-League affiliate is, and round out the roster like that. But I believe the starting five of Fox, Hill, Barnes, Bagley, and Dedmon, with Ariza and Joseph and Bogdanovic coming off the bench, that's a pretty deep team. That's a team that's at least 8 deep. And will they make the playoffs in the West? Who knows? The Western Conference has gotten tougher with some of the additions some of the other teams this offseason made. We'll take a look at that a little bit later. But I see the Kings winning about 49 games, maybe ending up with a 7 or an 8 seed and getting a first-round exit in the playoffs. I do enjoy the Kings. I do enjoy Cleveland, but they will make one more step forward. And they will make the playoffs this year, but they're not really going to make too much noise. Partially because of how deep the West is. Specifically with the Los Angeles Clippers, who retained Patrick Beverley while adding Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Let's take a look at their lineup. They still have Lou Williams. Patrick Beverley is their starter. Louis Shamet is their starting 2-guard. Robinson is their backup. Kawhi Leonard is their starting small forward. Harkless is his backup. Paul George, for some odd reason, they have listed as a power forward, even though I believe he'll probably be a 2-guard. And Jeff Green will probably start at the 4, with Ivan Zubac at the 5 and Harrell coming off the bench. Williams, Harkless, and Harrell can make a solid squad as far as coming off the bench, for Shamet getting some minutes there. Magruder, Mann, Kabengele, and Motley are all the backups that they'll have. Once again, 14 players, so I doubt they're really getting rid of anybody anytime soon, because they barely have enough to equal up to a full team at this moment. The Clippers, though, are looking to be a darn good squad, to put it politely, to not have to use my French. I think the addition of Kawhi Leonard is huge, because he's a stopper, period. He's a stopper. He makes it happen. I think that even with Kevin Durant, he would have made the finals last year for the Warriors pretty difficult. But without Kevin Durant, he made it damn near impossible. So, Kawhi Leonard, hats off to you for landing back in your hometown with the Clippers. And, man, I can't wait to see what y'all turn out to be. I can't wait to see. All right. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and drop it there. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break real quick, play a couple podcast promos, and I'll come back with my lesson of the day. And then we'll finish out with the last two teams that I wanted to talk about, and we'll do some talk about who's going to win the title and why people seem to consistently doubt the Warriors. You listen to Double K's Classroom right here on the Voices Presents Radio Network, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, CastBox, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, you name it, we on it. Peace.
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast, spelled DA, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
Hey guys, this is Venice, and I've got a message from a friend of mine about my favorite podcast.
It's your boy, Flavor Flav in full effect. Check this out, everybody. I want y'all to go check out TJ.
What's good, everybody? TJ Johnson here for Voice from the Underground. I am the most handsome.
Big Has.
And I'm smoking my cigar, of course.
You know what I'm saying? The Dutch.
You pick me up in an Uber and a PT Cruiser, I'm calling Lyft.
Cause they be fighting the power, talking about social issues, politics, you know what I'm saying?
And we're not even that good.
Right, we're terrible. Terrible. Tangents all over the place.
And not only that, but they be keeping it fun with the sports, music, comics, and movies too.
Am I allowed to talk?
I think no, not right now.
Shut up, colonizer!
You know what I'm saying? He on Twitter at VFU Podcast. So you can find them. So check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav. Yeah, boy.
Okay, what Flav was trying to say is, check out Voice from the Underground on your favorite podcast network.
Voice from the Underground.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
All right. So my lesson of the day today harkens me back to a conversation I recently had with a coworker of mine about Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. He was doing, as I've heard a lot of people do and a lot of 49ers fans do recently, calling Jimmy Garoppolo trash and overpaid, and the Raiders fans sitting there, yeah, y'all paid him way too much money. I told y'all that contract was a bad contract and blah, 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 blah. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, where do these thoughts come from? Because first and foremost, the contract is extreme. First and foremost, I just to let y'all know, I did confront the guy that the 49ers fan that said he was trash and told him, if we're 9-3 after 12 games and Jimmy looking like an MVP, I don't want to hear you talking about, oh yeah, Jimmy G, man, he the savior, man, he the guy that's going to get it done, because you're talking so much about him now, not giving him the chance to do his thing. And so on that note, I was telling people, just look at it. People talk about the contract as the hinging point for what was so stupid about getting Jimmy G. First of all, they had to lock him up. If they didn't lock him up, he was going to be a free agent. Somebody else was going to lock him up at pretty much about the same amount. Second of all, it's an extremely team-friendly contract, meaning this. The most expensive year of the contract was the first year. It was what's called front-loaded. So the contract only gets cheaper as the years move forward, which means he's causing less and less and less of a tax cap hit instead of the traditional contract in which he would be causing more and more and more of a cap hit. When that hit me, it was like, nah, man, the 49ers did exactly what they did with Colin Kaepernick when they put the out in the contract, where as long as they released him by April, blah, 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 they could get out of paying him anything in the rest of his contract. They have outs. If they need to get out from underneath Jimmy G's contract, they have outs. So it's a low risk, high reward type scenario, because if he plays well, then you're getting a highly paid quarterback, or you're getting a highly talented quarterback for cheap, at least for the first few years that he's with you. Then, of course, you're probably going to have to come out of pocket unless he's anything like Tom Brady and willing to accept less to help put a better team around him. But overall, Jimmy G's contract fits the 49ers, and whoever's the wizard that's drawing up these contracts over there in San Francisco, bravo to you. Bravo to you. Also, bravo to the Oakland A's. Like, I can't tell y'all, like, winning 6 out of 7 against the Astros and the Yankees, literally the number 1 and number 2 teams in all of baseball right now. Man, let's go Oakland. Let's go Oakland. That'll do it for my lesson of the day today. I'm going to come back, talk a little Lakers, talk a little Clippers. I just got done talking Clippers. Talk a little Lakers. There was somebody else I'm going to talk to. Nope, just Lakers. Yeah, Lakers and the Knicks. Yeah, I just got a quick something to say about the Knicks. So, a couple more podcast promos, and then we'll be back with this edition of Double K's Classroom. Thanks for listening in.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
From the galactic depths of the comic book universe comes the ghosts of the stratosphere, ready to galvanize and energize your mind with the latest of comic book news and reviews. And why are you stopping me? Yes, that's much better. Hi, this is Andy Larson for Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Join me every week along with my co-hosts Rob Stewart and Chad Smith, as well as a cavalcade of fantastic comic book guests, as we dish out heaping helpings of the greatest and latest of comic book news and reviews. New shows posted every Tuesday with bonus shows every first Friday of the month. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher under Ghosts of the Stratosphere, as well as on our website, www.gotstratosphere.com. Hope to see you soon, folks.
Interruption in progress. Now hijacking into ANS 2.0 immersion rig. Now simulating the amazing nerd show. Featuring comics.
And Batman's like, you're safe here and everything, but the Joker all of a sudden pulls out a gun and shoots himself.
Movies.
People fight with lightsabers. What the hell do you want? I mean, in every one of these movies, there's a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna rewatch it a million times.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, give me something more.
Wrestling.
That would be awesome. Oh my god, just a monster. Fans would be like, holy, what the hell's going on? What happened to Jericho?
Horror.
It starts off like any other like home invasion type of story, and then it just goes crazy.
And more.
Hey, this is Christian.
Hey, this is Damon.
And we are the Amazing Nerd Show.
Make sure to download us on all your favorite podcast platforms.
All right, and I'm back. All right, so the other big addition in the LA area during this last offseason was Anthony Davis getting his butt traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, and them signing DeMarcus Cousins as well, who promptly went out and got hurt playing a pickup game and tore his Achilles and is out for the season, but they've now replaced him with the incomparable Dwight Howard. Anyway, yeah, like anybody that thinks that the Lakers are anything less than a show, even with LeBron there, I'm sorry, you can't convince me. Please change my mind. Change my mind. You can add all the big names you want. Just that happens to that team. They're the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA right now. What can go wrong will go wrong. an accident waiting to happen. I'm sorry if I'm offending any Lakers fans. It's just how it is. But we'll see if they can put it all together this season. They're talking about playing LeBron James at the point. I don't know if how well that'll go over, but the talk is that James would play the point, Green would play the 2 guard, Contavious Caldwell-Pope would play the 3, or Kuzma would play the 3. Anthony Davis would play the 4. JaVale McGee would start at the 5 with Dwight Howard backing him up. If they choose not to go with LeBron at the point, it'll be Rondo at the point, Quinn Cook backing him up, Caruso backing Cook up, Danny Green at the 2 with Avery Bradley and Tony Daniels backing them up. LeBron had his natural position at the 3, and Contavious Caldwell-Pope backing him up. Anthony Davis with Kyle Kuzma backing him up, and Jared Dudley. McGee starting at center with Howard backing him up, and then they'd have Zach Norvell, Troy Daniels, Talen Horton Tucker, and Kostas Otakampenko, Pumpo, I don't know, all coming off the bench. This is a team that, I'll be honest with you, I saw them winning 53 games and having a second-round exit. Who knows? You got a couple of teams in the West that they could lose to, from the Clippers to the Rockets, who added Russell Westbrook this past offseason. But I have the Lakers, projected at about 53 wins. Now, I did say before the break that I wanted to say a quick thing about the New York Knicks. The Knicks basically whiffed on everybody. I'm not saying they didn't sign anybody. They didn't go 0-4 free agency. They signed some people, but none of the big names. KD supposedly was never going there. Same thing with Kyrie. They just never truly had an opportunity to any of the big name players that were out there. And that's just sad from a franchise that once was at the top of the basketball world to now be basically the laughingstock of the NBA, even to the players within it. I hope something happens for New York soon where they can turn that image around. But right now, you're pretty much the laughingstock of the NFL. So when looking at the NBA title, it's a wide open race this year. It truly is. All right, so let's go over the teams with the highest odds. First, you got the Clippers with a plus 350. You got the Lakers next at a plus 400. The Bucks at a plus 500. The Rockets at a plus 800, and the 76ers at a plus 900. That's the top 5. Okay. I think any of those 5 have a shot to win the title. A shot. Even though I think the Rockets are a little overrated. I think Westbrook and Harden is going to be okay during the regular season. I don't know how well it's going to work during the postseason. We'll see, though. The next 5 up would be the Jazz at plus 1,200, the Warriors at plus 1,400, the Celtics at plus 1,600, who added Kemba Walker in place of Kyrie this offseason, the Denver Nugget plus 1,600, and the Brooklyn Nets without KD would be a plus 2,500. So, I see it as the Clippers should be the favorites, but will they do it? First-year teams are really hard to read. KD and the Warriors went to the championship and won it in the first year. But that doesn't always happen. LeBron James went to the Miami Heat and lost in the first year. Got to the finals, but lost in the first year. So should the Clippers be the favorites? Yeah. But are they necessarily the favorites to win the title? I think the Warriors, if they get Klay Thompson back, can make some noise. I don't necessarily think they're winning an NBA title, but they can make some noise. I don't quite understand why people continue to doubt the Warriors. The Warriors have proven time and time that they're resilient. This run is longer than just this. Run started 3 years before Steve Kerr got there, and Steve Kerr's only been there for 5 years. So this run has already been going for almost 8 years and making the playoffs, winning 50 games, and being one of the top tier teams in the league. So, and I was one who didn't like the firing of Mark Jackson. I wanted Mark Jackson to lead them to a title. He should get a ring for that one ring in 2015. But why people doubt the Warriors will always baffle me. Like I told you, I believe the Lakers will win about 53 games and get knocked out sometime in the second round, probably by the Clippers, who I expect to have the 1 seed. My sleeper for the West is the Kings. And for the East, it's the Hornets. Don't doubt Terry Rozier and what he can bring to the table. But the Kings are a sleeper for the playoffs, but I don't believe they're a sleeper for the NBA Finals. And I believe the 76ers will come out of the East as far as the finals go. I think the 76ers have a good shot. Because the Raptors, they ain't even in the top 10 as far as chances to win a championship. So I believe the 76ers can. And they're going to be hard to beat in the finals, no matter who plays them. So, all right, y'all. That answers all the questions that I have in front of me. I'll give you my prediction for the Warriors right quick. 51 wins, so about 2 games less than the Lakers, and also a second-round exit. To who? I don't know. Maybe a Utah Jazz, somebody like that. But that's been it for this edition of Double K's Classroom. I want to thank y'all for listening in. Catch me next week when I'm back with K-Double's 5th period music class and my favorites mix, where I go back through the 62 episode history of K-Double's 5th period music class and pick out 16 to 18 of my favorite songs. So be sure to listen into that. Most likely live next Friday night. And definitely live next Friday night. And other than that, I'll see y'all next week. Oh, sorry. The other shows on the network. Mr. Deacon Experience tomorrow night. Cheap Pop Podcast Sunday at 5. MVT Deuce Sundays at 8. Lip Gloss and Mics at 6. And Brick House at like noon or so. And then Kings and Queens of Porn on Tuesday night at midnight, and Dirty Talk 101 Monday nights at midnight. So that's our whole lineup. Keep listening in. We got more coming for you. September 8th, we got a few new shows launching. So keep listening in. Peace.